Welcome to Brainwaves Bistro. Grab yourselves a cuppa, kick back, and join us for mental health talk with a positive vibe. Here's Julianne.
Hi there. Yes, about mental health, and for some, this may be a very controversial take. But I'm here to introduce the lovely Saskia Zaitsev, herself a radio host, formerly with her own show, and gratefully to have her my co-writer and editor on a book which raised money for our passion for mental health research. Welcome, Saskia.
Woohoo! Thank you, Julianne. Yeah, we did, and what a ride that was, but we got the job done in the end.
We did, and made a lot of people laugh and made hopefully a lot of people aware of our passion to help others through mental health research. Now, Saskia, you are going to share the interviewer's chair with me. That's not enviable, is it? And I thank you, but first I must, as always, reiterate to everybody, and particularly today on our topic, any qualms or further questions, please seek advice from a medical practitioner. I'm not, Saskia's not. You must seek advice from a professional medical practitioner if you have any questions or any queries. And whatever you do, do not drop any medications prescribed to you unless you are under medical supervision. But let's move on a positive vibe. Congratulations, Saskia, on your international awards for the book published in mental health research. And I must say that I've seen the plaque and it's very attractive. So well done.
It was a co-effort.
Okay, good team.
Having written that book with you, we often talk about the fact that 1 in 4 people in the USA and also in Australia are right now suffering from at least one clinical mental disorder.
That's right. Yes, a 25% rate. 25% of our population, as you said, in the US and Australia, suffering, and particularly in the areas of depression and anxiety, which are on the rise. But I do see problems with this increase in mental health awareness campaigns. It's great to help mitigate the inevitable stigma and discrimination, but are we overdosing on mental health campaigns? A new one every week, Saskia. Is there a superficial media focus on complex mental health issues, which cause great problems to society? And taken to the extreme, I believe, this is my opinion, are we encouraging ourselves and others to interpret negative thoughts and emotions as symptoms of a medical disorder? Are we actually pathologizing normal human behavior and experience? Saskia?
Yeah, but no one looks forward to the uncomfortable, negative, basic emotions like sadness and fear or guilt or shame. Do we really need to be up and happy all the time?
Oh, that's a good point. And well, Professor Dashna Kilner of Berkeley Cal, who I have studied with, he doesn't know it, but I have online, and his team of researchers emphasize in the topic of science of happiness, people who experience a healthy range of emotions, both positive and negative, reported greater overall well-being and mental health than those who were obsessed with just being happy. I really like Buddha's saying to the ilk of, to fully understand happiness, you must experience the sad. And that also experiences in terms of to experience light, you have to know what dark is. So, I'll go with that tack. And to be constantly happy and up could be seen as leading to a manic disorder, even psychosis. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. No, don't smoke it. We don't go there. Saskia?
So, yeah, actually, I remember you telling me about your experiences of mood disorders since you were a child. And looking through that lens, what are your thoughts on therapy speak and creep increasing in volume over the past 30 years?
Saskia, I find it increasingly dangerous. It really worries me when people use therapy speak to the point that they anoint themselves with a mental disorder that they clinically do not have. It means people that, a bit like me, who really do have serious mental health issues and have battles are even less acknowledged than they were before. The language of the clinically ill has been usurped by the media. And as my professor, Shelley Carson in psychopathology says, she actually defines, and I think so does the Diagnostic Statistical Manual, a serious disorder as causing distress and dysfunction in life. Now, we're not talking about a light breeze, but it's a full-on cyclone or tornado, destroying the quality of life for those of true sufferers.
But what do you believe is the root cause of this therapy creep and speak?
Well, this is just my interpretation, and yes, some of others, but labels are almost in vogue. And because of so many social media campaigns, a case of the blues becomes labeled with a depressive disorder or something similar. Look, here's a quote on one social media campaign, inverted commas. If you are wondering if you have trauma, here is the test. If you are wondering if you are hurting, then you are experiencing trauma. End of inverted commas. Now, clinically, that is so far removed from what trauma was originally meant to be.
So, Julianne, how do we know what is really seriously impacting on our quality of life, on our mental well-being?
Well, just ask anyone, and some people I have met and had discussions with. They've been clinically diagnosed with, say, post-traumatic stress disorder, a clinical diagnosis. Those who suffer experience and re-experience over and over their traumatic experience of perhaps war or sexual abuse as if it is happening to them in the now. Flashbacks, disrupted sleep, a reliving of the trauma with the sounds. They hear the same sounds. They often recall visually or in imagination the actual event. And they smell the smells. Their olfactory senses are triggered. They are suffering the agony of real trauma.
Yeah, I've actually heard that many esteemed academics in the psychiatric field are really alarmed over the increasing frequency of people labeling themselves with disorders.
Sure. That's a good point. For example, Nick Haslam, doctor, I think he's a doctor, from our university, he's definitely a PhD, but I'll check with him, from our University of Melbourne, that's Nick Haslam, says this therapy speak enables people to assign psychiatric terms to normal human experience. Terms like bullying, we've all experienced bullying, have been expanded in speak to become disorders, taking mild human experience into the clinical realm.
Okay, but what about the medical need to label everything?
Well, Saskia, it's a double-edged sword, really. We need labels for diagnosis and treatment. We here in Australia and in the US use the APA system. That's the American Psychiatric Association's diagnostic tool, the DSM-5. The latest revision was in 2022, which labels psychiatric disorders with the criteria of clusters of symptoms. And it may vary between people, and they look at a certain number of symptoms and then they give you a label. There are no objective criteria, no consistent biomarkers in use with this tool in either. Well, obviously we use it in the US and Australia. I could actually do a total segment just on the subject, but we won't go there today. So sadly, I've got to think about this. Sadly, the other side is discrimination, stigma for those that are superficially and often self-diagnosed. They can adopt the symptoms. They can act out the label. They become the disorder. They make themselves sick. It's almost a form of learned helplessness that's happening. My best friend, Sue Bustle, who was on the show, or one of our shows earlier, has two beautiful boys who were diagnosed with autism and clinically diagnosed on the spectrum. And she proudly says now that they no longer are living their labels. They are thriving. So that's wonderful to hear.
It is. And what's your opinion about the rise in anxiety that we see being reported?
Yes, it's definitely on the rise. Definitely. However, there are dangers. I saw in horror only a couple of weeks ago on social media directed towards our teenagers a questionnaire for kids to tick boxes, such as, do you ever feel irritable? Huh? Do you get anxious before exams? And so forth. All the boxes they ticked were normal behaviours and feelings and emotions that we do through growing up, all within the normal range of teenage life experience. They tick the boxes on anxiety disorder and then pay now and join our website and we will send you a badge for $1 value which states I suffer from anxiety. Yes, the labels in social media are in vogue. And I had another point that I find so distressing. In some schools in the UK, I refer to the New Scientist magazine, teachers are not allowed to pose academic questions in the course of the day to children who identify, inverted commas, with anxiety. And also from the UK research, contemporary school courses in mental health awareness result in lower scores of mental well-being and higher indicators of depressive and anxiety disorders. I mean, introducing kids to concepts of suicide, depression, it doesn't work. And this is happening after the course, a higher rate in distress.
And is it also true that we're seeing a skyrocketing diagnosis of ADHD right now?
Yes, it's frightening. Every second person I'm talking to has just had a friend or a relative diagnosed with ADHD. And it's so frightening that the supply of Retinol and Adderall, the amphetamines, which are used in treatment, they're out of stock everywhere. They've got a supply chain problem. There is a world shortage at the moment. It's ridiculous. Anyway, go on. My opinion. Mm-hmm.
So, Julianne, just back to that subject, who else benefits from this therapy, speak and creep?
Well, just think about it. The pharmaceutical conglomerates are salivating. They are licking their chops at the moment with what's going on with superficial diagnosis, self-diagnosis, more disorders, more drugs, more big bucks. It is frightening, and more big bucks to come up to find, investigate more potential disorders. Sorry, you want to ask another question? Go on.
Yeah. So, Julianne, I know that we've had discussions in the past, and one course that you took in neuroscience involved the history of pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Was that an eye-opener? It brought me to my knees, or brought tears to my eyes, actually. I'm now a total skeptic. My opinion, and also from my own lived experience, is a diabolical story of the power of propaganda and the unethical pursuit of the dollar. I would love to tell my story to you, maybe one day if I have a lawyer at my side. It is mind-boggling. Pardon the pun. Mind-boggling. We just have to look at the barely regulated, to my mind, number of free-to-air ads for big pharma products on US TV. However, anyone listening on medication, I've got to say this, I've got to press this upon you. You must not drop any medication unless under medical supervision. And so, Saskia, there you go.
There you are. I actually witnessed that myself when we were in America last year. It was incredible. So there's an awful lot to process here. But I know, as we co-wrote and edited a book for mental health research awareness, that we are continuing to raise much needed funds for mental health research with the Black Dog Institute. They lead the way in research and suicide prevention. So give if you can. No donation is too small. Just Google Black Dog Institute to donate. So, as always, we love to cover interesting topics, and I hear there's one coming up called Is There Just One Cause for All Mental Disorders? This is a groundbreaking topic based on the research of the Associate Professor of Psychiatry at Harvard University, Dr. Michael Palmer. This could turn psychiatry and pharmacology on its head. Well, I can't wait. So thanks, Julianne, and have a great day, and an even better one tomorrow.
And thank you, Saskia, and everybody listening. And Saskia, you do a great interview. You should go back and do it professionally yet again. Thank you, my love, for all your support and help. And anyone listening, please take note of what we said. And I repeat again, if you have any qualms or queries or in any distress, please seek your own professional help. Thanks, guys. And yes, have a great day and a great one tomorrow.